victorious. We'll do better on the intro next week, guys, we promise. But what is up? It's Friday night, so you know what that means. It's the newest episode of Nuts and Bolts Season 2. Now, Tony Tucker is my co-host here. Tony, how are you doing today? You got to be feeling a lot better this week than we were last week. We were in actual pain last week on this show.
Yes, feeling amazing after 2 brutal losses for different reasons. I'm feeling like, and I'm feeling even way better now. Athir, I was worried about you, brother. I was like, what is going on? Did his manager come to his cubicle today and say, none of that nuts and bolts BS. You focus. You crunch these spreadsheets right now, sir. We appreciate you, Athir. And as always, the chat is yours, my friend. Yeah, but Mike, I'm feeling a lot better. Like, there's no way that you can't feel better after getting a win. We'll go into still the frustration that looms there. But last week on the show, I was a little critical of Brandon Staley and identity, and I still have questions and concerns about it. But let's give this man some props. Let's put some optimism into the universe real quick. And I want to say this. He identified that Storm Norton was going to be a nightmare out there at tackle, even if it was against an aging veteran like Jerry Hughes. And he went and put Jamari Sawyer out there at left tackle and was like, all right, we're going to roll with this. We're going to put a rookie out there. He saw a problem, and instead of putting out and just being like, well, this is what we had, this is what we were going to do, this is our swing, this is our backup, we're just going to believe in our guy. They were like, no, somebody who took a bunch of reps at guard but played left tackle in college, we're going to give him a shot out there. We'll talk more about Jamari Sawyer, potentially having to go up against Myles Garrett. A little bit scarier. And then secondly, on a critical 4th down, he stayed calm. He called a timeout. They assessed. They looked at what the defense was doing, and they got their best players on the perimeter to make a play and go and finish the game. He didn't panic. He didn't do anything. He looked at it. We're going to go for this. I'm going to get the right play in there. They called the right play. It was successful. That is the kind of stuff that you do. You have control of the game. It was a little scary for a minute there, but it's 27-24, 4th down. Let's go get this play. And I thought they called a great play to get Herbert out on the edge, get the completion to Eckler, and it was an excellent use of a timeout and continuing to push forward.
And what a great example of when it is a good time to be aggressive. You're losing momentum in the game. They're coming back. They came roaring back in that third quarter. There were some big mistakes. And you go watch it on tape, it's not as concerning as it was when I was watching it and seeing them come back. I wasn't necessarily as upset with the comeback because I realized that we dropped the pass on 3rd down twice and we fumbled. And that's what caused the comeback more than anything. If we catch those passes and don't fumble, there is no such thing as a comeback. But they were coming back. They were roaring back. And Staley said, 4th and 1, yeah, we're going to step on the throat here. We're going to end this game. We're not going to put a field goal up and have the defense, trying to keep them from getting into the end zone at the end of this game. We are going to get it to a point where, the defense is going for the kill shot to end the game up 10. And I loved it too, Tony. I did. And Athir is here. We are going to talk about keys to victory in this episode, Athir, so stick with us. Go ahead and put yours in the chat if you'd like to. Anyone else that's in the chat, feel free to comment. We're here. We're live. If you're watching the replay, you can drop down in the comments and leave your opinions on anything. Just make sure you guys subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. Athir is here every week because Athir has those notifications on. We're going to be live every week, all year long, into the playoffs and through our Super Bowl run. All right. Anything else that we should add for this Texans game? I would like to say that I enjoyed that final drive more than just the 4th and 1, because that final drive by the offense there, the defense played pretty solid the entire game. That final drive by the offense there is what elite offenses are made of. This is the NFL. Games are going to be close against the bad teams. Games are going to be close against the best teams in the NFL. And usually your win-loss record is reflective of how you do in your final 4 or 5 drives of the game. And when you close it out the way that they closed it out, it gives me a lot of confidence that they can do it again. They could do it against Cleveland next week. They got the confidence to do it. And like you said, the offensive line completely shocked me. I expected there to be some leaks. There was 0 leaks, it felt like, the entire game.
Yeah, which again, we get a even better contest this week. I sure of things in the second half, whether it's focus, whether it's energy, whether it's game plan, and it's just all of it together. The fact that they're not scoring in the second half is a little concerning to me, right? Like I almost want them to come out and play as if the game is 0-0, even though that they're going into all three out of 4 of these games with a lead, and one of them within like one score or whatever it was, 16-7 or something in the Jaguars game. But still, there just seems to be one little thing. You say like, oh, there's the Gerald Everett drop pass. That doesn't allow them to continue the drive. But again, where's the focus at on that? Like everybody on the team, I get there's going to be drops in it, but it just seems like every week there's something like that is not allowing them to continue the momentum that they they gained in the first half of the game. So I think that I've now watched the highlights and I watched the game live. It's total like 3 times just because I needed that victory. I needed all of that joy in my life. But I watch it and I'm like, it's just a little something off, as opposed to when the game gets tight, all of a sudden we start seeing Mike on those big time plays. We're going to him. We're doing this. We're doing different things that just seem to, they just feel better. They work better. The energy's there. The sense of urgency. It's like, okay, everybody stop effing around and get it together on this play. And it's like, wait, that should be the same urgency on the first drive of the third quarter. That's why you deferred to get the kick in the second half, was to come out with that sense of urgency. And then you come out and it's like flat.
Mm-hmm. We can stop deferring to the second half, guys. We don't have to defer to the second half. I know that's a new popular thing in the NFL right now, is to defer to the second half. But if we start slow in the third quarter and we know that's our team, we might want to start taking that opening drive and go and putting 7 on the board right away. But yeah, I think that there's a lot that probably goes into the struggles in the third quarter and even into the fourth quarter in a lot of games this year. It's happened 3 times now: KC, Houston, and Vegas, and even Jacksonville, where nothing in the second half. The team just looks like a completely different offense the second half versus the first half. I worry, Tony, and I'm just speculating because I'm not in the room. I can't say for sure that this is what it is, that we have a coaching staff that is really good at game planning for a game, getting ready for a game, defensively, offensively. But do we have the coaching staff that is good enough at making in-game adjustments, which is a whole nother ballgame? That's hard to do, especially when the game plan's working in the first half and you know it's working. And then in the second half, like after a couple drives, how do you go away from it just because it didn't work for a couple drives? Sometimes you just have to tweak it a little. You just have to tweak it a little. And the players can help the coaching staff with that. The players can say, hey, I think that if I line up in this spot versus this spot, this play will work again. It worked in the first half. It'll work again. They just move this guy to counter it.
I think that there was probably some things that were going to come out of the motion. You know, when we were sitting down and we had our little cup of coffee and we rewatched the game together, I think that there was moments that they were going to be able to hit Palmer on some of those motion plays. But after the ankle injury, it wasn't the same, because when Bandy came in, he started being the guy that was in motion on that. And he ended up making a couple of big catches on the sidelines. Now, I love Michael Bandy. He's not in the same class of athlete as Josh Palmer. No. Not as fast, not as big, not going to be as dynamic after the catch. So maybe there were going to be some bigger plays that were designed to go to Palmer in that section. And maybe even like when Keenan is back, not that he would be on that, but maybe there's more stuff that's developed on that underneath, or slipping him out, or, you know, deep cross, drags, whatever it is, that'll come off of that. I really do think that getting Keenan Allen is going to allow things to go, everybody to be able to go to another level of comfort. We've seen Gerald Everett step up in this time. I don't think Gerald goes away. I think he becomes more dynamic because of the focus that you are going to pay towards Keenan, and then you still have Mike and Austin on the backfield. That just adds to, oh shit, we now forgot about Gerald Everett on this play, and it allows for even more there. Like, it's not a bad thing to have more greatness on the field at the same time. It's a good problem to have.
And it's pretty exciting to see that that the offense, in my opinion, has not been perfect. It has struggled in games and really had a hard time finding its footing in second halves. And we've been down Keenan Allen this whole time. And we currently, Tony, have the #1 passing offense in the NFL.
Yeah, and but my thing,
with a huge gap from here to the ceiling of what the offense can be.
My thing with that is that it's all going to come down to just having more balance regardless, because eventually you're going to get into bad weather games. You're going to have in-game injuries like that. We had the Palmer one here, and thankfully Bandy stepped up and was fantastic. He's everything we wanted from the preseason. He comes in, he makes a couple spectacular catches. He should have got out of bounds on one play. Don't even care. Run like you're going to score a touchdown, my friend. You weren't, by the way. Like, they cut so easy, but we still loved it. We cheered. It was great. I do think that the running game still wasn't spectacular, but it was nice to see that they were cashing in the red zone with the run, and they were able to pick up some first downs using the running game. I still would just like to see more fun jumbo formations. I don't give a shit if you're on your own 48 and it's like 2nd and 7. Let's run McKitty, Rodgers, Parham, Everett. I don't care. Let's run 3 tight end packages out there and run the football, or play action out of that and do something fun. Like, just do anything you can to try to get a big play going. Also, people keep calling for Josh Kelly, and I do think he's been a little bit better than Sony Michel, but not enough to where I'm like, oh, we have to get him the ball. If anything, my curiosity for Isaiah Spiller just continues to go through the roof. Like, when are we going to see this kid? And why aren't we seeing him?
Yeah, they're not very clear with that too. They're kind of like dancing around it, that he just needs to prove himself to do something. But you keep pointing out, like, Sony Michel isn't really playing special teams, is he? So what does he need to prove? Well, we'll see how that goes as the season progresses. We have Isaiah Spiller sitting there as depth also, just in case we need him for the entire season. But yeah, and speaking of the running backs, I love what they did with Eckler this week. Those little out routes, those little bubbles, those inside screens, pitches, all that stuff for Austin Eckler is an extension of the run game, even though it technically is a pass. You're just trying to get 30 in space, and usually when you get 30 in space, it's a first down. Usually when you get 30 in a lot of space, it's 20 yards. If you get 30 and they're sleeping back there on defense, it's a touchdown. He'll run through the entire secondary. Just because he's small, do not be fooled. And I think that was a key to how successful the offense was passing, was getting the ball to Eckler, forcing them to come down and pay attention to Eckler. We have not really force-fed Eckler this year the way that we have in previous years. And whatever the reason might be, saving him, not saving him, doesn't matter to me, because we need Eckler out there, and we need Eckler at his best. Seems like he's a momentum-style player. When he gets his momentum going, he's hard to slow down. Anything else, Tony? Should we go to the injury report?
Let's go. Let's move it on.
Sebastian Joseph Day, elite performance. Give that shout out too. Elite interior defensive line performance from him.
It's very noticeable. Turn it on and watch it. It is.
Yeah.
He's dominating. I love it. SJD
came out there with a smile too. All right, so here's the injury report for the Chargers. There's 3 big ones. Everyone else was a full practice today. That is listed here. So Everett popped up with a hamstring. That scared me earlier in the week, but it seems more like rest. He's fine. Herbert's ribs are fine. He's full every day. Horvath is dealing with a quad, but he's full every day. Like, all these guys seem like they're good, but there's 3 big ones. One, Keenan Allen's not returning this week.
Yep.
Which is not good. Hamstring injury, had a setback apparently that Staley says wasn't a setback, but there was no chance of him playing this week is what it looks like based off of the way he practiced. And Dustin Hopkins, dealing with a quad injury. I'm guessing he suffered it in practice. Did they say where he suffered it?
No, I didn't see anything about it. I just ended up dropping him on a fantasy team because I'm not taking a chance.
We do have a backup kicker signed, ready to go for this game, but maybe the range isn't quite there. Maybe the confidence isn't as much as it would be if we had D-Hop for this game. And another big one, especially with Keenan Allen already being down, is Josh Palmer is listed as questionable despite practicing in full today. I'm thinking he's going to play, but maybe he is a little sore. Maybe he is a little bit banged up and he's not 100%. We saw that he played through the ankle injury last week.
Yeah, I think he actually got banged up in the Jacksonville game, came in, it was exacerbated in Houston, and now it's just like it's kind of working through it. So
yeah,
I do think that he'll play. I don't necessarily know how much, like how involved he would be. I think like, unfortunately, this is like one of those situations where it's like we're really gonna miss Jalen Guyton in moments like this when it's like, oh, okay, we have that next player that's like gonna go there and attempt to allow to stretch the field, take the top off, do some different stuff, and I'm not really sure how they're gonna work out that portion of the game plan yet. Like maybe that's Mike.
Yeah, I think that this game we're going into it with a similar wide receiver core as last week. We're going to see Bandy. We're going to see more. See a lot of Chargers fans demanding Tyron Johnson. It's too soon of a turnaround. We can't get him to Cleveland. There's no way. They'd have to sign him and maybe have a chance of him playing in a couple weeks. Maybe next week. Not this week for sure. So you saw he got dropped by the Raiders today.
I didn't see that, but also like there's
out there with a little bit of chemistry already established with Herbert.
And I hear what you're saying, but there's a reason they didn't. It's not a mystery that the coaching staff doesn't like him. Like they saw what he did the year before. They cut a guy with established connection to Herbert, and he would have been the wide receiver 3 on paper. Like when we were going in and we were talking about, it's like, okay, Tyron Johnson put up 650 and 6 touchdowns or whatever his numbers were the previous year. He feels pretty good for a roster spot, even though they drafted Josh Palmer and you have Guyton and stuff like that. It's like, but he felt good. And then all of a sudden it was like, oh shit, they cut this player who was pretty fantastic in a pinch last year. Like, why wouldn't you think that would increase? So if they cut him after that, they know what he can do. It's not a surprise, but everybody's like, oh, we need to bring him back. The coaching staff clearly doesn't like something about his attitude or his style or whatever. Like they already know he can play in this league. He put up a very solid wide receiver 3 season for them. Like he put up essential Tyler Boyd numbers for the Bengals and they cut him. Why would they bring him back? I don't think he's on their radar at all.
I don't think so either. I think that maybe they're looking at adding more, as we get deeper into the season, but I don't think it's necessarily at wide receiver even. But I don't think it's necessarily Tyron Johnson. I would think depth to the O-line, depth to the D-line, depth to the secondary, like one of those 3 we're going to add. I don't know. We'll see. I know OBJ is still floating around out there. That's a lot of buzz, Bolt buzz, and Will Fuller's floating around out there with a lot of buzz. This week, our wide receiver core is pretty set. Going down to the Browns injury report, they've got defensive tackle Taven Bryant, questionable. I'm not sure how involved he is on their defense. One of the big ones is Jadeveon Clowney dealing with an ankle injury. He was limited on Friday. He's questionable to play in the game on Sunday as well. No one else has a designation, but Myles Garrett was limited. He's expected to play, but he was limited still on Friday, so he hasn't had a full practice in like 2 weeks now, I don't think. And I'm not saying that means anything for Myles Garrett, but it is something just to keep an eye on as he goes into this game. A little bit banged up. And their tackle, who had a concussion, is a full practice today, so he's good. So we're going to be playing pretty much the Browns at full strength, just down Jadeveon Clowney. And the quarterback situation. They're going to have Jacoby Brissett out there.
Yeah. Athir, fire away.
Let's hear it. Be careful because I'm about the biggest Keenan Allen fan out there, so a little sensitive.
This is not about who the Browns have or don't have, because even a fully healthy Browns team, it's still Jacoby Brissett, and it's still pretty limited in the passing game, right? Like I know they have Amari Cooper and Donovan Peoples-Jones, Michigan guy, love him. It's nice. I don't necessarily know that it's like an attack you would fear, and you're like, oh man, how could they handle this type of stuff? To me, it's all about how the running game, like how do you stop that? And we'll get more into that in a second.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Let's talk about Keenan's status going forward. I think it'd be a perfect day, a perfect week, if they're going to test it out to try and get him out there by the Monday night game versus the Broncos. You're going to get all of this week off, and all of next week potentially off, and he could start looking at targeting returning to practice Thursday, Friday, and the game isn't until Monday night. So we're talking now, getting closer to 5 weeks since the injury happened, 6 weeks since the injury happened. Which, remember, Tony, when it happened and they were like day to day, and both me and you were like, bullshit, it's not day to day, it's a hamstring.
Not on most players, and then especially not on somebody who is so like short area explosive and quick and twitchy with all the routes and his abilities and stuff like that. It just didn't seem that like it was going to be the quick turnaround on the injury. I almost think that like, why not save him until after the bye? Because if you can get through the Broncos and then you get the Seahawks at home, which we just got our tickets for that. I can't wait to be in the building for that game. But why not save him until after the bye? Because if he comes back and then it's even a tweak again, that takes him out for the KC game. That takes him that's just a long time to be out. So I don't know. I'm more on the be cautious side early in the season.
Yeah, and especially with a player like Keenan, where we know his contribution is coming back if he's 100%.
Yeah.
So we're okay with being patient and making sure we get him to that 100% and getting that contribution back on the field for our late season push when our schedule is going to be tougher. I think this results to this game this weekend, Tony, might influence rushing that back or not. We got Chargers need back-to-back high production games from Mike Williams. This 100-yard game every other week isn't cutting it. I'm with you. We need it from Mike this week big time. He had almost, I think, career day against the Browns last time we played him. But he had a good game against them last year.
Yeah, no, I like that. I don't think I've ever seen IB in here before. Appreciate you stopping by, and I really, really agree with that. Because you don't pay somebody $20 million a season to just run go routes and catch jump balls. Like, they need to be using him on those slants that they had him, and that is where he can make his money. And also, too, eventually you're going to be able to catch somebody slipping, and he's going to be able to pick up a lot of yards after catch. He's a big body, and it's hard for the secondary to bring him down. Like, they just have to have more in the game plan than what they've shown, I think, consistently is what I would just like to see.
And this not having back-to-back great weeks like that, it does have something to do with the way teams are game planning for him. Some weeks, maybe he's not as much of a threat in the eyes of a defensive coordinator because the week before he had 2 catches for 15 yards and a touchdown. And he has 100 yards the next week. Now the defense coordinators focus on slowing him down, which obviously opens up Eckler and Everett and all these other guys. And we got to be able to overcome and win despite a game plan. Do you think that teams playing against the Buffalo Bills don't game plan to try and stop Stephon Diggs? They don't stop him anyways. That's basically probably what the whole game plan in the passing game is going towards, stopping Stephon Diggs. They don't stop him anyways. We got to get Mike to that level to where when they do pivot to double him up, when they do pivot to do whatever it is, we know how to beat that still. We know how to get him the ball because he's our best receiver on the field right now. We need him. Him.
IB has another one here after that where he talks about Lindsley and then how we need to get a game plan for Garrett. Last year's game plan was real simple. Good luck with Rashawn Slater one-on-one. And if you go to the other side and you're trying to catch Storm or whoever is out there at that point in the season, I forget the week 4 matchup. It was like you're getting a chip by a tight end and you're getting the right tackle. But yeah, this is something I'm curious to see how they're going to help out Jamari Sawyer on that one side, or how they're going to help out. Are they going to roll protection every time, whatever side Garrett's on, and we're gonna move somebody over there, or are we going to take Eckler out and have more Michelle where it's like, hey, you're picking up these bigger edge rushers in pass protection here.
Yeah, and Athir's dropping his in the chat right now, so we might as well get to it since we're kind of already merching around in the area. They're very obvious, and I think the entire league knows how to beat the Cleveland Browns. It's easier said than done. Tony, go ahead and highlight those keys that I think every Chargers fan, everyone that's watched a football game by the Cleveland Browns in the last 5 years knows what the game plan is to beat them. But go ahead, Tony.
The key to victory is this young man right here flexing on the wall, K9, having the game of his life with Drew Tranquil. I don't know if Neiman's dressing. Every single linebacker is going to need to bring it. Van Noy is going to have to step up and help with the edge assignments. Rumpf is going to have to really help set the edge nicely. But it really just has to be like people staying to their assignments and minimizing the damage that can be done, right? Like eventually you're going to get some pressure in there from Austin Johnson, from Sebastian Joseph Day, and you're going to be able to get a couple of runs where you're getting no gains, maybe some losses or something like that. But if you are letting them get 12-yard, 18-yard gains, like just these big chunk runs, first downs, and that just be discipline, assignments, everything just needs to be there. And it would just be so nice to see Kenneth Murray and Tranquil double-digit tackles, just wrecking house, just bash browing it up. Tranquil's got that funny like neck thing that he's wearing right now. I don't know if that's like a positive energy bracelet he's wearing around his neck. Have you noticed that?
It's a portable air conditioner.
Oh,
it's blowing like air around his neck and keeping him cool. It's pretty sick.
Did not know that. I'm a fan of. I'm gonna get one just for Sundays around the house.
Yeah, they have them. You can buy them.
There it is. They have them for fat, old, retired guys like myself.
I mean, I think your neck is close to Drew Tranquil size.
I don't know. Mine's husky. His is swole.
Theo's saying the Bolts offense needs to be aggressive. If you get touchdowns and put them behind the 8 ball, they won't run down 3 scores. Your thoughts, Tony? I mean, this is a good game plan. Unless it's the crunch time, I think that they will run the ball down 3 scores. This team, bread and butter, is 24-27 in the O-line. And if you can disrupt that part of their game, you can slow them down. You can turn this into a game where the Chargers offense, they can handle Myles Garrett. They have a chance to turn it into a blowout. But if you can't control that run game, that's when we get into the spot that we were last year when we gave up 250 yards rushing to them. And we won the game, but we had to go 47-42 in a victory. We can't bank on that this weekend. Yeah, can Herbert do that again? Sure. I believe in Herbert do that again. We can't bank on him doing that again. They have to show that this run defense is improved from a year ago. And if they do that, I have confidence that we're going to win this game. And the way they handled Myles Garrett last year and were able to slow him down, even when he moved over to Storm Norton, I believe he only got 1 hit even on Herbert in that game. I have confidence they're going to be able to handle that. So really, it just comes down to me. Don't let Nick Chubb break 3 big touchdown runs off.
Yeah, it would be really nice for them to get out and put points on the board early. I do think I would like to see some aggressive plays, even if it leads to some mistakes. Like I want to see J.C. Jackson get an interception this week. I would love to see maybe Derwin try to jump a route on Njoku. And Jacoby's going to give you those opportunities. He's going to give you a couple interceptable passes a game, especially if he's dropping back on 3rd and 8, and they are able to bring some pressure, which I think that they can. I want to see aggressive DB play where it's like, hey, we need to go get this ball back for Justin on this one. So it would be great if we could force them into passing situations. It didn't, I mean, like last week we could say Davis Mills was like mounting to come back and shredding and doing all that stuff. I don't necessarily know if that was the case. He's a professionally paid quarterback and he made some plays, but I don't think he was like shredding the defense by any means.
They got one big one in the past game. They had a couple of chunk plays, but that one big one gave them a chance. Like late in the game, I know we want to stay aggressive and we want to keep it going, but we're up 20 points, right?
Yeah.
A little bit. Let them get a few, clock killing plays, if you will, and then buckle down and play aggressive defense when there's less field to defend behind you.
Yeah. And we didn't, what we forgot to do? This is my bad, everybody. I forgot to clip out Jerry Tillery getting a strip sack.
Yeah.
We started the chant last week, Tillery. And then IB here is putting up my feelings exactly. Can we please recover a fumble? How many other Chargers fans are out there like screaming, pick it up the fucking ball, pick up the losing my mind. I sound like a lunatic. Everybody in my house is like, this, I can't believe we have to live with this asshole. I just wanted somebody to pick it up. There were 7 opportunities. Nobody picked it up. But yes, can we please recover one of these fumbles for sure? I'm feeling that. There was fumbles that didn't get recovered in the Raiders game, fumbles that didn't get recovered in the Jags, and just like every week, somebody just fall on the ball.
One of third and Renfro's, by the way, Renfro has 0 third down conversions this year. One of third and Renfro's 10 fumbles this season. We didn't get on it. We didn't get it recovered, make him look even worse.
And that was Weekly Shots, FTR.
Yeah. And talking about this is another good point, is the Browns, they like to pound the rock, and they like to hit the edges. They want to get their running backs around the corner and upfield. And I think that the Chargers see that, and with our strength on the interior, they're going to force them to go towards these guys. So SJD and Johnson, they can have a monstrous game if the Chargers are successful in keeping Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt off the edges and run around the corner like they like to do, especially down in the red zone. I think SJD is just such a great addition to this team. He's doing so well so far.
They're both really great because they're not only like strong, they're athletic too. Like they chase down plays on the backside, and they're good. It would be so nice. Like we joke about Tillery. Wouldn't it be nice if that wasn't just 1 play a game? Like what if that was like 5 plays a game where he was having that kind of success? It would be a totally different defense if that was more than just one play where I was like, oh shit, he's on the field. He's going to make him. Oh my gosh, he made a play.
Yeah. He got that one-on-one matchup. He hit him with a nasty move to get through. Like basically, wasn't even there. It was very good. You called for it, Tony. I want to say that. Speaking of calling for it, let's get into it. Athir has his bold predictions. We do this every week, guys. So leave your bold predictions in the chat for a Chargers player this week, or coach, or just a bold prediction for the team in general. Tony, you have anything in mind?
I do.
Okay, here for it.
Welcome back, everybody. Get your fork and knife, grab yourself a cold beverage, and get a big old fat plate of chicken parm for 2 TDs this weekend. Donald.
Oh yeah!
His return. He's getting targeted twice in this game, both in the red zone. Donald Parham scoring 2 touchdowns this weekend. He's going to crush my Gerald Everett start in fantasy this week, stealing all the touchdowns, but I'll take 2 touchdowns as my bold prediction and the welcome back week for Donald Parham. So excited to see this young man getting back on the field.
Well, Tony, maybe Gerald Everett can get a touchdown, because my bold prediction is that Justin Herbert has 5 total touchdowns in this game. Maybe it's 4 passing and 1 rushing, but 5 total touchdowns in this game for Justin Herbert, one way or another. So maybe 2 to Parham, 1 to Everett, 1 to Mike, and a little Eckler screen or something that goes very tough.
There it is. I thought you were going to throw Horvath in there. I'm like, come on, he's already got 2 touchdowns. Why is this rookie being so greedy? I love it. I really just want to see, no matter what happens in this game, just beginning to end, just everybody focused and dialed in for the entire game. Like you're on the road. And one of the things that I feel really good, do you want to go into our predictions for the game?
Yeah, let's do it. I'm going to look at some of these. Let's check out. There's 2 already here.
Okay, let's do it.
Mike Williams gets 11 catches, 223 yards specifically.
Ooh, I like that.
3 and 3 touchdowns. The defense holds Chubb to under 105. So he's going to let him squeak into the 100s, but not past 105. Athir, if we hold him under 150, I'm going to be happy. All right, so 105, I'll take it.
Yeah, my bold prediction was going to be that they were going to hold them under $1, but I wasn't feeling that bold. I wasn't feeling insane, I should say. Yeah, it's just such a tough matchup for anybody there. I love the Mike Williams talk though. Like it would be so great to see back-to-back weeks of them going like, oh yeah, we have this player that nobody can really match up with. Mm-hmm. Just size, and then Herbert's ability to just put him on it, put the ball on him wherever he is, whether it's slant, whether it's deep one-on-one matchup, throwing those fades. It's money. Let's get it. I love this one right here. I am a huge fan of this.
this could be like late in the game, Tony. We're up 42-20. Fourth quarter, got 8 minutes left. Kelly comes in, pounds the rock. We kill 5 minutes off the clock in one drive with his. He gets 7 carries, and he had 3 earlier in the game. Damn.
I don't even want to wait till the end. I want to come out in the beginning of the game. Like, let's go to shotgun. Kelly in the backfield, just put it in his belly and just boom.
Yeah, what if you just
middle for like 38 yards? Have him get up and flexing with that goofy ass smile. I love it. Let's go, JK.
I'd be if Josh Kelly breaks out the first play for a touchdown, I'm gonna lose my mind.
No, well, I'm gonna come back. I'm gonna find you. I'm gonna send you a gift.
Oh man. Final score will be close. Chargers fans will have stress because the Bolts like close games. Saying 31-27. Let's get into it. Tony, prediction for this game. Score prediction.
Okay, I think that this is my score prediction might not show it, but I think that the Chargers are going to win the game. But one thing that I really like is this is a little bit of a homecoming for Brandon Staley, right? He's from that Ohio area. I think there's going to be a lot of friends and family, but I think that bodes well for him. I think that he's really going to have good energy, smart energy, and that's going to infuse into the team. It's going to be a very good game for them, even though they're in a very hostile environment like Cleveland. I'm going with the Chargers winning 29-24. Yes, there is going to be a missed extra point by whoever random kicker that's going to be out there. Vizcaino Jr. I have no idea who's going to be Michael Badgley III. I don't know who the kicker is going to be on Sunday, but I believe that we are going to see a missed extra point that is all going to have us being like, why again?
I can't deal with this kicker shit, Tony. But anyways, I remember last year, Cleveland, we missed kicks to freaking put us in a bad situation that Herbert someone dug us out of. Okay, I am not overlooking the Browns before I drop my score prediction, but I just called for Justin Herbert to have 5 touchdowns, so I pinned myself into a corner here.
Yeah.
38-20 Chargers. We do it. We blow them out. We stop the run game. We slow down their pass rush. 38-20. Call me delusional. I'm not overlooking it. This is a great team that we're going against. Maybe it's close at half, and then the Chargers take off in the second half. All right. Tony?
I don't mean to disrespect you, but I'm gonna slap you in the face real quick because you're saying you're gonna beat him by 3 touchdowns. But this is doable right here because I could see this. I could see a 27-20 game, pick 6. Maybe they get that fumble recovery IB. They finally pick one up, little scoop and score action on this one. Somebody fun is going to run it in. Alohi Gilman coming out of nowhere. The little Australian rugger picks up the ball and just runs into the end zone.
Well, Tony, the lowest score I can call if we miss every extra point is 30, which would be 1 point. 30-20 would be 1 point off of yours.
But I love it. You're like, I am not overlooking the Browns. I respect them. I think they're a solid football team. They really come to compete. Oh, yeah. We're going to beat them by 3 touchdowns, 38-20.
I'm trying to get a career day out of Herbert because he's had so many great games in a row, so mmany great games. But I want to see that 5 touchdown where everyone's just going, wow, at the end of the weekend.
I want to see it too. Yeah. I don't.
Maybe against the Falcons.
I just don't trust Lombardi to like figure it out. That's my issue is like, I don't trust them to say like, oh yeah, we put up 23 points in the first half. Now we're just going to cruise in the second half. Like I just haven't seen it where they've come out and said, no, this is ours. We're the best team on the field. We got the best player in the league and everybody gets to know. We're going to show the whole world like this kid he should be throwing 4 touchdowns routinely.
Mm-hmm. Not like he does 300 yards. Not getting to 40 points last week when you have 27 and a half. You got to get over 40 in that game.
What offenses are averaging 312 yards in the passing game and not putting up 20, 30 points in a game? Like that just – it doesn't exist.
All right. We're turning around. Follow up from here. 38-20, guys.
38-20. All right. I'm on board with it.
Just got to feel it. Here we go. I'm pumped. And we will be at the game in a couple weeks in Seattle, guys. You see us, say what's up. One of the coolest things ever happened at the last Charger game I went to. Was it the last one? Might have been the one before. No, it was the last one. It was the Jaguars game. I'm walking out. I'm walking to my car. Someone stops me because they recognize me. I thought it was from TikTok, right? And I go, yeah, you follow me on TikTok? And they said, no. I actually tune into Nuts and Bolts. Are you kidding? Are you kidding me? So if you see us there, say what's up and make sure you tell us. No. It ain't nothing about that TikTok crap. I'm here because I'm a diehard Chargers fan that subscribes to a channel with 415 subscribers and listen every week.
Making moves. We're making moves over here. We're not making any moves. I'm going to move to the kitchen and cook my family dinner. That's the only move I got. Athir, we appreciate you. IB, welcome. Thank you so much for jumping this chat. We're here every Friday. Consider hitting that subscribe button and joining us next Friday when we're celebrating 3-2 and everything's looking up.
It is. I'm excited to get past this game. I know that there's some tough mismatches, but on the other side, we got some favorable mismatches on our side, and hopefully a returning Keenan Allen. Can't wait for it. Drop your last prediction, Athir, while we do this extended outro just for you to drop this prediction, Athir. Appreciate everyone tuning in. Subscribe, like, comment if you guys are watching the replay. Say what's up, Athir. You got it in there yet?
He's just typing so fast. There's sweat dripping from his brow while his boss stands over him. And he said, you said this show was going to be 38 minutes. He's like, I know, boss, but they're always late. And I know it's Tony's fault. I don't want to stereotype against him, but he's always late.
We were 2 minutes late today, Tony. Don't you dare take our credit away. 2 minutes late today. That's pretty good.
We were.
Exactly. 3-2 without our best edge rusher and our best left tackle. I'll also be on cloud 9. I will. Here.
Well, you took too long. I can only vamp for so long. I don't know. I mean, you want me to go for like the bold prediction right here? Fake punt? J.K. Scott touchdown to Michael Bandy. The boldest of the bold, Michael.
I want to go
J.K.
put
Scott
on that one. You might want to put a prop in on that one.
I don't even know if Bandy's on the special teams. Like, I don't know what he even plays on that. I'll send it. That is too long.
It's too long.
Put it in a letter and send it to my address, 555 Huckleberry Avenue in Los Angeles, California.
Nope. Read it. Ain't nothing. All right. Yeah. Send it to our Instagram here. Send it to Tony, actually. It's TT Sports Ramble on Instagram. Go send it to him. I'm sure.
I never go on Instagram.
Nuts and bolts. Send it to Mike, the NFL Mike with the THE in the front. Thank you guys for tuning in. We're out of here. We just wasted 3 minutes of your life.